A Thunder Bay sailor who was racing around the world in a handmade sailboat is back in the city ahead of schedule. Dan Turk had to cut his epic adventure short due to health concerns. Lee Noonan has more.
It's a bittersweet return to Thunder Bay for Dan Turk, who was 5 months into a 13-month race around the world when he decided to pull out and head home to deal with a health issue.
It's good to be home with family and friends and be around familiar faces.
Turk was one of 15 competitors in the Mini Globe race, which saw sailors piloting identical handmade yachts through the Panama Canal, across the Pacific and Indian Oceans, and around the southern tip of Africa, then across the Atlantic to Antigua. Turk finished third and then fifth in the early stages and got as far as Fiji, where he left behind his 19-foot boat, Little B.
It was a pretty sad moment, honestly, knowing that I wouldn't see her for a while. Yeah, it was pretty emotional, honestly, because, it's a hand-built boat and I have so much time and energy invested in it, and just to get to the start line was a big deal, and then to have to leave it midway through the race was not what I expected to be doing.
Alone out on the ocean, there were difficult and frightening moments, including a 2.5-hour period when Turk lost control of Little B in 20 to 25-foot waves during a nighttime squall. But there were also moments of magic.
A small boat from, it was built in my hometown, out on the ocean, then all of a sudden there's these crazy dolphins like right beside the boat, which is really, really cool. But the exhilarating moments were probably arriving in the Panama Canal, actually sailing through, and the ship traffic, and just that fact of, one of the busiest ports transiting in the same area as big ships is really, really cool. And then arriving in the Marquesas as well was another exhilarating thing, because it's all volcanic islands, and it was like Jurassic Park almost, arriving in those areas, especially after being at sea for 35 days.
Although the winds are more consistent and the swells are higher on the ocean, Turk said sailing here on Lake Superior was a good proving ground and prepared him well for the trip. Lee Noonan, TBT News.